Hello students, my name is Balaji and I want to tell you something about preparing for NEET Physics. If you're a student who is about to enter the 11th standard and are planning on spending the next 2 years preparing for the NEET exam, I want to tell you about NEET Physics. You see, I am a NEET Physics teacher. Let me give you a quick introduction. I am an IITian myself and I got my PhD in the University of California. And for the past 45 years, I've been teaching physics. Now, for the past 30 years or so, I've been teaching IIT JEE Physics, Mains and Advanced. And ever since the NEET examination started, I've been teaching NEET Physics also. We have had many successful students who got into excellent medical colleges. And I want to give you an introduction to how absolutely fascinating it is to study physics for the NEET examination. First and foremost, let me tell you something about the standard of the examination. At present, it has become practically equal to the standard of the JEE Mains. There's not much of a difference. We have found in the last few years that students who are prepared at the JEE Mains level are also the ones who are getting into good medical colleges. Let's look at it. What do you need? It's not enough to learn formulae, because without a good conceptual understanding, you're not going to know where which formula applies. Many problems combine multiple concepts. So you need to know which concepts fit where in order to solve a problem. You need to be competent, not just competent, very comfortable with a certain level of mathematics. And many of you probably don't take that level of mathematics seriously, or maybe don't even take that mathematics. So in any course that I teach the mathematics that is required completely. And in such a way that you get physics applications with the mathematics and you'll really enjoy it and you'll find it actually quite easy and enjoyable. Now, let's look at some of the concepts that you'll be learning in class 11th. You'll be learning about vectors, and you have to become completely thorough with vectors. And vectors become very easy when you start applying it and start solving problems. Physics is a lot like swimming or tennis. You got to get into the water. Watching a teacher do it is not going to help you. Even if you understand what I'm teaching you, that's not going to help you. You're going to have to practice on your own. Now, many students come to me and say, "Sir, I understand it clearly when you're saying things, but then when I try to solve a problem, I'm not able to solve it. Or when I come into an examination hall, I'm not able to solve the problem." Don't worry about it. That comes from practice. And you have to spend a lot of time thinking about physics. Okay, I will teach you how. So when you come into a topic like vectors, you start dealing with very interesting problems like the direction of rainfall as seen from the point of view of a cyclist. When the cyclist is moving fast, from her point of view, the rain appears to be falling in a different direction than what she sees when the cycle is stationary. I use the word "it appears to be falling," but you'll soon learn that it is falling in that direction, because velocity is a relative concept. It's a beautiful idea. Let's go to something else. Let's take something like friction. Now, a lot of students have misconceptions about friction. Let's consider this book. I'm going to place it on my hand. Now, I'm going to accelerate my hand to my right. And you notice the book comes along with it. That's because there's friction between the hand and the book. If there was no friction, my hand would have slid away and the book would have fallen. So it is friction that causes the motion. Friction doesn't oppose the motion. So in this example, friction is actually acting to the right in the direction of the motion. Friction causes motion. Now, you might be thinking, but then friction opposes motion. What about that? Well, that is wrong. It's not true in all cases. On the other hand, if I place the book on the table and try to slide it, then friction opposes motion. So you have to get these concepts absolutely clear before you can solve a problem. Let me go back to something that you're very familiar with. A neat trick that you've seen 1,000 times. A transparent bowl I've taken, I call it a cup, and I have a 10 rupee coin. So what I'm going to do is take a card, place it on this, you know this trick, and then I'm going to place the coin on the card. You can see that out here. Now you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull the card very fast. In proper physics language, I'm going to give it sufficient acceleration so that the coin drops into the cup. Watch. I'm going to grab the card and give it a large acceleration, and the coin fell into the cup. Now, all of you will tell me the answer is inertia, but let me tell you something. That answer is pretty useless because no one has ever solved a single problem in physics using the idea of inertia. To properly understand this, let me convert it into a NEET or a JEE problem. Before I do that, let me also point out that if I place the coin back on the card and pull it slowly, the coin comes along with the card and doesn't fall into the cup. What happened to inertia? The second thing to notice again is just like that book that I held in my hand and accelerated to the right and the book accelerated to the right, notice the coin also accelerates to the right when I pull it. I don't know if you can see this, but this time again, the coin accelerates to the right, but not fast enough to clear the cup. Okay, so let's convert this into a NEET problem. How do we do that? In a NEET examination, what you'll be given is the radius of the cup, you'll be given the radius of the coin, and you will be given the force of friction or the coefficient of friction between the card and the coin. And you will be asked, find the minimum acceleration that you should give to the card so that the coin falls into the cup. Now that's a beautiful problem. And when you solve it, you'll find yourself just extremely happy because a lot of your misconceptions would have gotten cleared out. And it would have trained you in how to solve the problem. No formula is going to help you in this because you're going to have to think for yourself and you're going to have to visualize. And that's some of the practice you will get in a good coaching class like mine. You need to visualize the whole thing. Okay? The card's acceleration is so large that the card clears the edge of the cup before the coin reaches the edge. Then the coin falls inside. So you just have to put the acceleration of the card, you calculate what is required, and during that time, the coin should not clear the rim. So you see, this kind of visualization and reasoning is the essence of solving interesting problems that are required for NEET and JEE. They want people who can think. And thinking is something that's a habit that we can develop. Okay? You come to another example like a river and a boat problem. In a river and a boat problem, you need to understand how the flow of the river affects the motion of the boat. Now, every student who learns these things in school will learn that the equation to use is V is equal to V prime plus U, and I'll teach you about that later. But when faced with a problem like this, the student will not realize that V prime is the velocity of the boat in still water, which means in the frame of reference moving with the river. Don't worry about that now, just listen and enjoy. Okay? Once you understand that and you're able to solve the problem, you will find it gives you a great amount of thrill to know in which direction to point the boat so that you end up at a desired point. To be able to solve that gives you enormous amount of satisfaction, and as you solve more and more problems, your confidence will increase. But that's not enough. You will start to enjoy physics. Now that's very important. Enjoy physics and the relevant mathematics. When you do all that, you will be on your way to get into a great medical college. But that's not our aim even. Getting into a medical college will happen automatically if you do well. But you will do well if you are enjoying the subject. Because if you're enjoying the subject, you're thinking about it. And if you're thinking about it and you're practicing because you enjoy the practice, you'll end up automatically being good. Now let's take a couple of other topics. Take simple harmonic motion. The essence of simple harmonic motion is that no matter what the amplitude is, small amplitude, big amplitude, it takes the same time period. This is fascinating. This is one of the great things about our world. And simple harmonic motion is something that happens again and again in all facets of the universe. And to learn that is fascinating. Okay, let's go for circular motion. Boy tying a stone with a string and whirling it around. Now let me ask you a simple question. What if I took that same string but I made a long string, and instead of a string made a cable, tied a huge platform to that other end, tied the other end to the earth, and the spinning earth itself acts like the boy? Is that possible? We will do the calculation and we will find that the length of the cable required is about 36,000 kilometers. So is that just a calculation for the sake of examinations? No. If you make it 40,000 kilometers or longer, you will find that a platform which is spinning around the earth due to the earth's motion is the basis for something called a space elevator. Because the cable will be so taut that you can run an elevator up and down to a height of 40,000 kilometers, and there you'll be building your spaceships. It's a practical problem, it gives you a lot of joy, and it also teaches how to solve a problem like this. And this is the kind of problem that appears again and again in NEET and in JEE. And then there is thermodynamics. Thermodynamics teaches you how to convert a chemical reaction into useful energy. For example, burning a petrol into running a car. So we will learn about engines, and then we will learn about gases and the work done by gases in pushing a piston which can rotate a wheel and move a car. That's just one example. But learning about gases, liquids, heat transfer, that's a whole interesting topic. And you're going to be surprised to find that it's a very easy topic where you can actually pick up a lot of marks. Okay? Another topic where you're going to pick up a lot of marks is understanding waves and sound. To understand sound waves and resonant columns like a flute, you will find again the problems, once you learn to solve them, they're very easy and you can easily pick up a lot of marks. Now, in this video, I have told you only about the 11th portions. In another video, some other time, I'll tell you about the 12th portions involved in NEET. And that's another whole lot of fascinating physics. I tell you this, I love physics, okay? And I'll try my best to make you love physics, and not just love, to become a master at the subject, okay? So if you are interested, let me tell you what I'm going to do. I'm starting a strictly online coaching class. So no matter where you are in the world, you can take my class. I'm giving you a telephone number at the bottom and an email. You can communicate with me if you want to join the class. You can try it out for a few days and then see if you like it. Right now, it's important that you learn to love physics. All right? I'll see you later. Bye-bye.